Hello, Steeler Nation, and welcome to the latest episode of your Pittsburgh Steelers Syndicate with me, your host, Britsburgh, Owen, speaking to you here in the UK. I am your voice from across the pond. Guys, we are in Ravens week, aren't we? We're getting ready for the game on Sunday against the Baltimore Ravens at Acrisure Stadium. Our first matchup this season with our AFC North division rivals, the Ravens. And it looks like a Lamar Jackson-less Ravens. Personally, I'd rather play the Ravens with Jackson. I think Huntley is a better quarterback than Jackson, to be perfectly honest with you. Jackson is a very one-dimensional player, whereas Huntley has a better pass than Jackson. Anyway, one thing that has been encouraging so far has obviously been the change since the bye in the way the Steelers have played. Obviously 3-1 since the bye, an improved rushing offense, an improved set of results, an improved offense. However, there's always however with the Steelers, or so it seems, isn't it? In recent seasons, there never just seems to be a this is great, this is great, this is great, and that is it. There always seems to be a however or a but, doesn't there, in the whole situation. Now, one of the things that obviously are holding back the Steelers' offense at this moment in time and the Pittsburgh Steelers to a greater degree is their second half woes. Now, we saw this in glorious Technicolor, didn't we, against the Cincinnati Bengals, when it was the second half collapse that really led to the Bengals being able to win that game. Without that second half collapse, I think that game would have stayed competitive right to the end, and I would have backed the Steelers to come out on top in that game. You know, it certainly was a close game, obviously up until half time. But second half has proven to be one that is worrying for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, have a look. Here we go at the third quarter points. There's been a real issue in the third quarter for our Pittsburgh Steelers. So, week 1, there was 0 points in the third quarter, 3 points in week 2, 0 points in week 3, 7 in week 4, 0 in week 5, 3 in week 6, 0 in week 7, 3 in week 8, 0 in week 10, 3 in 11, 0 in 12, 3 in 13. That pattern continues. It'll be 0 in week 14, but a pretty horrific pattern. The Steelers have only scored 7 points once in the third quarter, that coming in our week 4 matchup. Other than that, it has been a pretty sorry state of affairs in that third quarter for our Pittsburgh Steelers. You know, certainly if you look as well at the second half breakdown, third quarter, we rank 31st in the NFL with 22 points on average, and 28th. So that's 22 points total. 28th in the NFL in fourth quarter points. So a bit of an increase there. And overall, we are ranked 30th in the second half. Not a great tale indeed. And certainly if you compare that with the first half, there is an improvement there in that first half comparison. 21st in the first quarter with 43 points, 12th, tied 12th in the second quarter with 92 points, and first half 19th. So about sort of just under midway with 135 points in the first half. So, you know, certainly if you compare that 135 points to the 75 points, there is a big difference there between the first and second half performances by this offense. What is it, do you think, though, that is causing these issues? What is causing these problems for our Pittsburgh Steelers? Why is the second half such an issue? Why is it that third quarter, as you can see from these points totals, is so bad? Why? So let's think about that for a moment, shall we? And I think the problem can be put down to the fact that come the third quarter, opposition defenses have made adjustments. They've made adjustments to their defensive schemes. They've made adjustments to their coverage schemes. They've made adjustments to their calling on the defensive side of the ball. And the Steelers offense is struggling to cope with these changes. Maybe about it. The offense is not, I don't think, responding quickly enough to the opposition's changes. The adjustments are not coming quick enough. And this has been a criticism that has been leveled at Matt Canada and the offensive staff all this season. Not necessarily always the play calling. I know that's a whole different story, and I'm not going to get into the play calling and the scheme today. But into his ability to make adjustments to the play, make adjustments to his scheme, and that those adjustments come too late into that fourth quarter at times for the Steelers to pull back. Now, this is something that obviously needs to be addressed. How is that going to be addressed? Well, that obviously needs to be, I think, with an involvement of other coaches, people like Frisman Jackson, people like Mike Sullivan, people like Eddie Faulkner, people like obviously head coach Mike Tomlin need to have their input there into that third quarter. The Steelers know this is going to come, and they know running into these last 5 games of the season, these are issues they're going to continually face, and they need to address them. And this is something I hope that going into the game against the Baltimore Ravens on Sunday, that the Steelers can address this issue. Because, if you look at overall, this is overall third quarter performance in the NFL. The Bucs ranked 28th with 38 points. The Minnesota Vikings, rather surprisingly, rank 29th at 34. The Chargers with 33, the Steelers at 31st with 22, and the Broncos, the putrid, awful Broncos. I mean, the Broncos make the Steelers offense look like Kansas City. They really do. They're that bad with 15 points. So that third quarter offense is that big issue the Steelers need to address. Now, what is the way to address that? Like I said, I think it's making sure that at halftime, they know something's going to come. They know there's going to be adjustments to make. They need to come out with a new set of plays, a new set of ideas straight away if they are receiving the ball. Also, as they go out there and as they play that third quarter, make adjustments on the fly, on the hoof. Another way of doing that would also be for the Pittsburgh Steelers to allow the quarterbacks to take more ownership of the game, to actually allow Kenny Pickett to audible more, to call more changes of plays. Pickett is getting better at reading NFL defenses. One of his strengths is reading the defense. So I think there's definitely a need there to allow him to audible more in that third quarter to keep the opposition on their toes. In addition, more up-tempo, more no-huddle offense would be a good idea in that third quarter when the Steelers historically have had problems. Change it up. Try something new. What they're doing at the moment isn't working. Therefore, in these last 5 games, give them that opportunity to use the up-tempo, to use the audible, to actually give the Steelers an opportunity to change things on the fly, the players on the field, that is, so that the defense's adjustments that they make are therefore really null and void and ineffectual against what the Steelers are going to put out there. Going along with the same thing and running the same thing you've run in the first half will not be successful. And that's why the Steelers need to make those changes. Anyway, Steeler Nation, let me know what you think about our third quarter woes. I'm certainly hoping on Sunday to see a change in the Steelers' third quarter offense. Thank you for watching the Pittsburgh Steelers Syndicate. Remember to hit that sub, ring the notification bell. And guys, drop me a comment about what you think about the problems are with the third quarter offense and the Steelers' second half offense overall. Thanks for watching, guys. Let's finish this in the best way we know how. Here we go, Steelers. Come on.